Pregame.com.
Sunday night football, San Francisco at Seattle. Who would have thunk it before the season began? But we got a matchup of a couple of teams they're thinking they're going to go deep. Both teams, not just San Francisco, in the playoffs this season. Right now, Seattle laying a point, the total 39.5 in this contest. And Seattle comes off, Marco, 58 and 50-point outburst the last 2 weeks. Now, I decided to jump online and see when was the last time that NFL teams had gone back-to-back weeks where they scored at least 50 points. Not a big sample size. It's happened twice. It was the LA Rams and the New York Giants way back. They both did it in the same season, 1950. So while there's no sample size to talk about, I'd suspect, though, that the Seattle Seahawks are going to find a little bit more resistance this week. And
before you throw the joke, no, I wasn't there for the 1950 game. I'm sure that would have been
Would we do that to you?
Yeah, right. But, I'm looking at this game, and, Seattle, they're playing really good football right now, and nobody really expected this coming into the season. I mean, they make does anybody remember Matt Flynn at this point right now?
His banker does.
This poor guy got signed. He was going to be the Seattle quarterback, and Russell Wilson, nobody expected this, and he's getting better every week, gaining confidence, and I've liked him all along. I know you've been a big fan of Russell Wilson, but he's not going against Arizona or Buffalo this week. There's going to be a little bit of a difference going up against this 49er defense. As far as the 49ers go, scheduling-wise, Seattle's catching a break because San Francisco's got to be up 2 weeks in a row. I mean, that was a monster game last week against New England.
By the way, it was your game of the year, and I failed to mention that at the top. I wanted to say congrats. You had San Francisco. That's a ballsy-ass call. You had San Francisco. We all had to
say ballsy.
I had San Fran with you. Yeah. But what I'm saying is ballsy is the fact that you called it game of the year. You liked it. And I was saying this on the air Sunday night on first preview after the game had gone final, that you can tell your buddies that this is my favorite play of the season, but then to call it your game of the year on top of it, that takes a little bit of guts. And, brother, you got some guts.
I was feeling real good.
There, but he let it go.
Yeah. I felt really good, obviously, for most of the game. But I got to tell you, I thought I was going to get the old reverse payback for the North Carolina game. Remember that horseshoe I pulled out?
I wasn't going to push that horseshoe back in.
Let me tell you, it was tight enough. It felt like it was going back in Sunday night.
Wow, did we go into it?
We got to top the pigeon story.
That's right. Well, we bottomed it, that's for sure.
But this is a bad spot because that was a huge game for them, and especially, for Colin Kaepernick to go in there and play the game he played, to go against Sunday Night Football, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and what did we hear all week? Everybody was saying, he's not a true rookie, but, in experience-wise, game-wise, he is. How Belichick, can confuse rookies. Well, they didn't confuse him. He had a great game, and Harbaugh took the reins off in that game and let him go downfield. Give Harbaugh credit. Great play calling until he went into prevent defense too early. But we'll see what happens. I'm not going to tip my hand here yet.
Well, I'm going to ask you, Brian. First of all, I'm a huge, as you said, Russell Wilson fan. I liked him at NC State. Thought he was one of the smartest up-and-coming quarterbacks that we've seen in quite a while, and he proved that by learning that Wisconsin offense like that. And again, I've said this many times, he was my Heisman winner last year when he was at Wisconsin. I thought he was that good. But as far as this game's concerned now, you had a San Francisco team that wanted to come out against New England and prove right out of the blocks that they were going to be the more physical team against New England. And they really laid the wood to them for a couple of quarters there. Not going to be so easy, as Marco just said, doing that 2 weeks in a row. Wanted to ask you also, because Marco's kind of twitching, and then I started remembering something that makes me twitch a little bit. Were you on the first Seattle-San Francisco game, the 13-6 San Francisco win back in Week 7?
I don't remember.
Well, I remember he was, because we were texting back and forth. That was the safety game where Harbaugh decided to decline the safety, which cost me and cost Marco. That's why we're going to. Anyway, safety game part 2. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, you take a look at San Francisco. 8 of the last 11 games have held the opponents to 300 yards or less. In those 11 games, they've reached 300 yards or more. San Francisco's playing really well. But it is their 4th game in 5 weeks. And now they have beat Seattle 4 straight times here. I don't know if it's kind of an ownership thing, but Seattle, that home field is one of the toughest in all of football, and the spread's been going back and forth all week long. Seattle's 14-3-2 on a run as an underdog, so you don't want to give them any points. I'm waiting for this line to get to 1.5. That way I could use the teaser on it because it's a low total game. It's two teams that know each other very well, two teams with excellent defenses, despite the 58 and 50 points that Seattle scored the last 2 weeks.
Let's get to it. Marco, your best bet.
All right, well, it's not actually my best bet. It's a regular play. Yeah, regular play. But I'll tell you what I'm looking at in this game, this is actually a playoff game, guys. It's really the first playoff game of the season because the division's on the line. San Francisco was cruising all year, and nobody thought anybody would catch them. They'd just roll right into the playoffs. But if they lose this game, Seattle can take the division. So you're going to see these two teams play it close to the vest, tight. It's a TV game. We know Vegas pumps the lines on these TV games because there's so much public money on Sunday night. And we know the public doesn't like to bet unders, especially when they look at the scores that these two teams were involved in the last few weeks. Last week, they're going to see New England and San Francisco put up 75 points. Seattle's put that up almost themselves the last 2 weeks, 50 and 58. Who's going to want to bet the under? Yet Vegas didn't have any problem bringing this total out low. I'm one of the type of handicappers. I actually respect the lines makers. Everybody thinks they're smarter than the lines makers. I give them more respect and try to see what they're doing with the line. And to me, they're begging you to go ahead and bet the over in this game, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the under here. These are two defensive teams. They're going to play close to the vest. They're not going to want to lose because they know they're going against two good defenses. Last week in New England, there was only one good defense on the field. There's two this week. They don't want to fall behind. They're not going to take chances because it's not going to be easy to come back if you do. I'm going under in this one.
And if you like that, you got more Marco D coming up next. Central Michigan, Western Kentucky College Football Bowl action. We'll talk to you in just a minute right here at pregame.tv.